Hey, how's it going? In today's lesson, we're going to cover Python identity operators. So this is using the W3schools.com website in the Python tutorial series. In the previous tutorial, we went over logical operators in the Python operators tutorial. Okay. So here we're going to go over identity operators. So what are identity operators in Python? Identity operators are used to compare objects, not if they are equal, but if they are actually the same object with the same memory location. So the first operator is the is operator, and the other operator is the is not operator. So the is operator returns true if both variables are the same object. For example, if the object x is the same as the object y, it will return true, and it will return false if the object x is not the same as the object y. So let's give it a try. I want you to do the same, so click on the button, try it, and then code along, okay? So here we have a list, and we have two lists, right? Each list has the same stuff in it, okay? Each has an apple and a banana in it. However, the first list is pointing to is assigned to variable x, and the second list is assigned to variable y. And in this third line, we're basically assigning x to a new variable called z. And we're going to check whether or not the variable, in this example here, we're going to check whether or not variable x is the same as variable z. Okay, so, or the same object as variable z. So press run, and it says true. Okay, true. So I want you to comment this part out here, the last part. Okay, and then press run again. Okay, so why is this true? Why do you think x is z? Because they're the same object, okay? Because z is the same object as x. You might think, okay, what does that mean? I don't understand. Okay, well, if you think about it, right? Okay, so an object is basically an instance of a class. Okay, a class, if you think about it like theoretically, right, a class would be like a design of some sort that you can reuse, and you can create multiple instances, multiple objects using the same class. You might, and if you think about it like more metaphorically, okay, think of it as for example in real life, right? So you have a human, okay, a human with this made with DNA, okay, like an organism. Or so you, right, for example, you were created from DNA. I mean, you might not believe that, but just for the sake of this example, you were created using the DNA, and there could be, someone could use the same DNA, a scientist could use the same DNA and create another you, okay? So there would be two objects or two instances of you using the class or the DNA that was used to create you, okay? However, you wouldn't be, the two objects or the two instances of you that were created wouldn't be the same. So this is the same, this is why we use the is comparison operator to test whether or not the two objects are the same. Okay, even though you might be the same as the copy of you that was created, you're not the same object. So this is what this is used for, is. If you wanted to test whether or not these two variables, okay, have the same contents, then you could say print x equals y. And what do you think you're gonna get, right? let's see. True, right? Because these have the same contents in them. The content of this list is the same as the content of this list. Okay, so you're using this equals comparison operator to do that. But if you write print x is y, meaning to say that you're asking Python if this object, okay, is the same as this object, what do you think you're going to get? False, right? I'm going to just comment this part out because it's kind of confusing. So you're getting false because they're not the same object, right? It's the same idea it's similar to the idea as what I just explained, where you have DNA that creates a human, two humans, right? Although they're exactly the same, like if you clone a human using the same DNA, although they're the same human, right? The contents of the human might be the same. They're not the same human. Okay, so that's why using this comparison, the identity operator, x is y, it returns false because these are not the same object. Okay, and I'm not going to get into, they point to they're stored in a different location in memory. So that's the whole idea about it, but I'm not going to get into that. I'm just going to show you how I'm trying to explain the logic behind how this works. Okay. So again, this is used to compare the contents of two values or two objects. The contents of two objects or values. This is used to compare the identity. Okay, whether or not this object is, or this variable is has the same identity as this one. Okay, and then lastly, you might be wondering, okay, well, why is z equal to y? Because here, in this case, right, the last part here, why is z equal to y? Well, because here we've basically assigned x, okay, this object, to z, so it is the same object. So that's why when we're asking is x of the same identity as z, we get true. Okay, so that covers the identity operators. I want you to code this all out yourself, give it a try, and see what works, what doesn't work, and that way you'll get the hang of using this. Okay. There's no need to really cover is not. It's basically just the opposite, right? Returns true if both variables are not the same object. It's just basically the same thing, except for it returns true if they're not the same object. Okay. So I hope that helps you. And in the next lesson, we're going to go over membership operators in Python. Thanks and have a great day. See you in the next one.